I'm fed up with being the bottom of my wife's priority list. She works 30 hours a week as a resident and volunteers for about 20 hours a week with various health charities. I bring in 95% of the income and have the vast bulk of the wealth. I made it before we were married, and we have a pretty robust prenup. I spend my 5 hours a week, work time at home maintaining code and developing new ideas, then should be free to look after our, in reality my dogs, and enjoy myself. There are no kids, and never will be as I'm infertile. Following cancer as a 16-year-old, this has always been known, and although my wife would like kids, has accepted that it's not going to happen. Right now, I'm just hacked off that I am the bottom of the list for everything in our life. Whilst nominally I can do what I want during her office hours, as long as I'm up to date with my own work, I invariably have a list of family errands to do, cakes to make for her work or charities, dinners to cool for the social engagements we have, things to arrange for her family. Mine are 2,000 miles away, so are a phone call a week and the odd week's visit. Stuff she want me to do for church and basically run around after her. She seems to be trying to fill every hour of my day with stuff for her. Whilst that would be okay if it were ever valued or appreciated right now, I feel like her personal assistant. I've tried to bring in help, getting her a PA and housekeeper, but it always ends in her firing them because they don't do things right. We are on our third cleaner this year already, and it's driving me up the wall. Obviously, the first piece of advice is talk, which I have. Sat down and explained the situation in terms of how I feel, but that was met with a wall of tears, then a week of being nice, then a swift reversion to old type, including firing the housekeeper for trivial reasons. I suggested couples therapy, but this has been vetoed, though I might go alone. And after one period of essentially being communicated to by lists of things to do on the fridge, I took off, dogs and all, to see my parents only to beg to come back after the first week because she was lonely. When I got back after 2, she shunned me for 3 days, then cried a lot. Then it was back to the same old stuff. I'm really at my wit's end. I'm no longer happy in my relationship, and although I'm totally fulfilled in everything else I do, work is great. The dogs are amazing. I have a great circle of friends I see, and I have everything I want. We are not happy together, and underneath it all, I think she is trying to drive me away. Perhaps she really wants kids, but doesn't want to take the step of ending it with me, so is trying to drive me away. I tried to ask about this, but was met with a wall of tears, which is standard behavior if she wants not to talk. Edit. We cannot adopt or use IVF due to a number of reasons. Firstly, I'm not considered an appropriate parent because I have a limited life expectancy. My prognosis is negative, and at some point, Izzy will be a widow. I hope and pray to God that this is in our twilight years, but I'm already 11 years over my expected lifespan, so if I get to 50, I will be happy to have cheated death out of 34 years. Secondly, and for me the most important factor, I do not want to put a child of mine through losing a parent. I'm not a house husband. I work sat at my desk for maybe 5 hours a week. The rest of the time I do my own thing. But this contributes to me having great ideas which allow me to work 5 hours at a desk. Izzy's residency is as an artist. She is the artist in residence at a children's hospital, where she produces work of her own and does art therapy with the patients and the parents. Update 1. We finally had the conversation on Monday afternoon. It started with, as predicted, a wall of tears when I brought up our relationship, but following the advice I just kept going. I think I sat at the kitchen table for almost 5 hours in total until she finally gave in and sat down to talk without crying. There was a whole lot of resentment built up towards me, which was why she couldn't face me, and tried to keep me busy so I did not have time or energy to focus on the relationship. She brought up a lot of things that I did wrong. The fact that I only work 5 hours a week and that's not fair. That I make her feel inadequate by doing everything so well while being ill as well. That I only eat real food and don't drink, which is not fair on her. That I have a better relationship with her mum than she does. The fact that I am really skinny and she has to battle with her weight. That I have a loving family and she doesn't. And that I am not good at sex, which really hurt, as she is my one and only. None of that hurt as much as what she said, right towards the end of a heated exchange, when she blurted out that I should be dead by now. After I had had a break and calmed down, I came back into the kitchen to face a diatribe, where the long and short of it is, she does want children badly. She doesn't want to be married to me because I'm stopping her having them, and I'm sick, which she is tired of, and only went ahead with getting married knowing we couldn't, because she thought I would have died by now. She then confessed, not sure that is the right word, more like blurted out angrily, that throughout our dating and engagement, she had wanted to end it because she didn't want to marry a dying man, but could not face telling everyone because they would have thought she was callous. She said felt she was pressured into marrying me because I was sick. She had thought that I would not survive, and when I died, she could find someone else who could have kids. I was really upset, so I left to go to the den and stayed there for the rest of the night. I didn't sleep much, but thought we could work it through and we could find a way for her to have kids, even if I wasn't around. I'd even found some agencies that would consider IVF for us, given my family would definitely be there for the long haul, even if I wasn't. In the morning I made breakfast and waited. She surfaced at about 9. And so I sat her down at the kitchen table, and I calmly told what I was thinking about, asked her what she wanted to do. Again, I got a wall of tears, but waited them out. Then I got a really angry response, which made no sense. She said she might not be able to have children anyway, so we should stay together until I die, and that it was my fault she wouldn't be able to have kids. I knew there was a possibility that conceiving could be difficult for her, as she'd had a really bad gynecological infection a few months after my last chemo round. We argued about this for ages, that she couldn't know until she tried, that her position did not make sense. She argues against IVF as an option, saying it was too difficult for her. That is, she really wanted kids naturally. Then it would be best to split, and her find someone who could give her that. Over the space of an hour, it became clear that the infection was not something simple as I had thought. I could not understand how an infection could make you infertile, and kept asking what it was. She was really evasive until I made her tell that the infection was chlamydia. Although she didn't say it out loud, just cried when I asked was the result of an affair. When I realized what she had finally not said through the tears I left, didn't say anymore, just collected the dogs from the yard, piled into my landy, and went to my brother's. I spent most of the day in bed crying until my brother got me on Skype with my big sis and mum, who were great and really practical. Then I went over to my sis's place to exercise the dogs with her, and that made me feel a little better. So since yesterday, I've had 100 plus ignored calls and texts from her, and she's tried to call my brothers, parents, and sisters. Mer mom has called 10 plus times. My brother has texted her and her mom to leave me alone, and that I'll be in touch when I figure it out. She showed up at his house while I was at my sister's, but he sent her away. For me, it's the end. I don't want to be with someone who has had an affair, who doesn't like me, who resents what they have given up because of me, who lies, who tells me I'm the one and only partner she's ever had, who is emotionally weak, who the fuck gets married because they don't want to seem callous. I've wasted the past 4 years on her. Fuck. Plan for the rest of today is to pick up my big sis who is flying in from DC with her wife and go with them to see a lawyer they know, pick over how to get out of this mess quickly. She's not a divorce lawyer herself, but her firm drew up the prenup, so it will be good to have her around. Then she, my brother and sister, and various spouses and friends are going over to the house to collect my things and clear my den office. I'll give my soon-to-be ex about 1/4 hour's notice we are coming over, but I won't go in and I can stay in van if she's there. I'm going to be moving into mum and dad's old house with my sister for a while. There's loads of space and the dogs will love it. For info, I'm pretty sure I'm clean of STIs because we didn't have sex during that time, and I have my bloods done every month but have booked in for extra tests on Thursday. An infection could have killed me, but perhaps this was her plans all the way along. Edit 1. Infidelity. As my lawyer pointed out, I cannot be sure that she had an affair. I made the presumption based on her tears and refusal to answer. She has denied saying that she did in an email to my brother. Chlamydia. It is possible that she had the infection from prior to our relationship, although she had told me that I was the only one she had ever had sex with, so there's a lie in there somewhere. This could explain that the infection did so much damage, that is, she had it for 5 years. Infection, and our sex life. We did not have unprotected sex before she was diagnosed. The advice we had was to use a barrier method to ensure that she was not exposed to chemical toxins in my body. I got really ill a few months after we got married, so it dried up, and she had had treatment by the time we went on our honeymoon about a year later. Our sex life after that was really very good, or at least I thought so, up until about 5 months ago, when a lot of things about us went off the rails. Money. Turns out it really doesn't matter much. The house is on a lease because I couldn't get a mortgage, as I'm such a bad risk health-wise. It's in my name, so we'll issue a termination and let it lapse. she can take it up anyways. Currently, most of my income is taken with medical bills, so even if she tries to get alimony, then there is nothing to share. As for pre-existing monies, that pretty much safe, with almost no option to challenge. I've changed my will already to exclude her, and yes, she did get everything, but I don't think that was a motivation. Is she a monster? I don't think so. Right now I hate the thought of her, but I can see how she got into the situation where she married me thinking that it wouldn't last forever, and how she could have felt trapped into the wedding. I don't think she married me with the thought of getting rich. I just think she didn't actually think it through properly. She did turn out to be a shit though. Do it still love her? Of course I do. She was my rock during some really dark periods in my life. I wanted to die in her arms. We had so much fun together. I watched a video earlier of us playing air hockey, me in a big coat with bare legs, as I only had a hospital gown on underneath her, looking amazing lovely. We were so happy. Notwithstanding all of that, I do think we would not have made it in the long term, even if I had been healthy all along. My mum thought I only stayed with her because it was the easy thing to do, and I'd had enough shit in my life though. Until last night, she had never told me that. Will I let her tell her side of the story? She can say what she wants to, whomever she wants except me. I'm done, and only need good things in my life.